Hello everybody and welcome to today's Stitch with Me. Today I am going to work on this kit from Spring Brand and I forget what it's called, but I will put the name on the screen. I think it's like Seaside something or other. This is an 11 count kit. I was starting to get ready to set everything up and I thought, why don't I film me setting up my project as well? So I have not stitched a single stitch on this yet. So the first thing that I'm going to do is decide where to start. I'm kind of tempted to start with these pelicans at the bottom. I usually start either like this bottom corner or this top corner. And I think that the pelicans are kind of the more interesting part here. Let me look at the colors. Yeah, there's a lot of cool colors here. There's some nice colors here. The best part is like the sky and the water. So I don't know. Well, I'm going to start with the pelicans. That was kind of my first thought. So we have, this is probably an area where there's a little bit more confetti. I couldn't remember the word for a second. So one thing that I'm going to do to start is I'm going to take my color palettes and I'm going to actually cut them in half so that these are a little bit easier to work with. So I'm just going to make sure all of the thread is out of the way, and then I'm just going to go ahead and cut them in half. I hope you guys are working on a fun and interesting project with me today as I work. And then, oh, look at the colors in this palette. These ones are awesome. There's a lot of these yellows. This is a big color in the sunset, but also some of the beach, it looks like, is that color, maybe where the sun is glinting off the sand. Don't want to cut through that staple. Staple. So this is a pretty big canvas, but because it's 11 count, it's actually not a huge number of stitches. It is, let me see how many stitches. 270 by 201. I mean, it's nothing to sneeze at, but all right. So I've got those ready, and then I've got my needles, and now I just need a hoop. And I think I'm going to go with a larger hoop because to get in these pelicans, it's going to be kind of a larger area. So let me choose a needle from the package. Oh, there goes the staple. Do not want to lose the staple. I'll be back in 1 sec. I just got to grab a hoop. All right, a lot of my hoops are already in use, and I only have a couple of these big guys left. I am probably going to buy another kit of these. I got a whole bunch of different sizes. They were kind of nested into one another, and they were really, really cheap on Amazon. The other ones that I have seen are the plastic ones, and they sell them at the discount stores that, oh my gosh, give me a second. This fabric is so stiff. All right, so I did get it on the hoop. It did require the help of my husband to get it on the hoop. This fabric was so stiff, which means that it would have probably been just fine to stitch in hand or just hang it off the edge of the table and stitch that way. But I kind of like having it on the hoop, especially for filming purposes. That way the fabric doesn't move around too much and disorient you. So I'm going to pick one of the symbols that's a little bit more difficult to see so that I don't end up stitching everything around it and then having these more difficult symbols. So I have chosen to do these little light brown X's, and on the legend, this one's nice because it shows on the pattern as well as on the fabric. And those little brown X's are this little slash, and it's number 25. So especially when you have your legend all caught up in a hoop, it's good to, is this filming? Oh, sorry, I thought it wasn't filming. The joys of filming. Okay, so we're working on number 25. And this is 11 count, so we're gonna have to do 3 strands. So I'm gonna pull out a full strand of number 25, and then I'm gonna separate it into the 3. And I know probably you guys already know how to do this, but this is a stitch with me, so I'm just gonna narrate everything I do so that you have somebody to hang out with while you're working on your project. Just make sure I have 3. I do. So how is everybody doing? And what are you working on? Please put in the comments below. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the second thread, the second set of 3, and I'm just going to reattach it to number 25 so it's there and ready to go next time I work on this color. Uh-oh. Gretel is here, my cat Gretel, and she is interested in this thread. We don't like it when Gretel gets interested in thread because, as I've said, I've told this story 100 times, but Gretel did eat some of my knitting one time and had to go to the hospital and have a very expensive surgery to remove it from her stomach. She could have died. So I'll tell this story over and over again, especially to people who are stitchers, so that you're aware. If your cat is interested in your thread, danger. Okay, let me just get set up here. All right, I want you guys in nice and close so you can look at what I'm doing if you choose to look. And I'm just gonna start randomly. And one of the things that I really like about working with 11 count is that you get to use these nice, big, thick, meaty needles. And they're so easy on the hand. As I get older, I get more and more problems with my fingers. I don't think I have like arthritis. They've done x-rays and stuff on my fingers, and I don't seem to have like actual arthritis yet. But I think I'm on my way at some point with the problems I have with my fingers. They just get sore and achy sometimes. So it's nice to have a nice, thick, strong needle. I'm just gonna pull that tail through now that it's secured. Oh, look what I did, dum-dum. I went, oh, now I've really created a problem here. Oh, geez. Give me a sec. Okay, I went up when I should have gone down, and then when I reversed it, it got caught up in a little piece of the tail at the bottom. And that's probably why this is fluffing up now. Good times with cross stitching. Gretel was sitting on my project and watching, but then when I had to lift it up and over, she didn't like that. She's still sitting there watching the threads, but yeah, it kind of made them into a little bit of a mess here. Okay, so I have, I believe, fixed the problem. I took that stitch out. I completely kind of smoothed that thread back out. I turned on a brighter light. And now I have a knot at the bottom. No, I don't. Yes, I do. Once you kind of get a problem with your thread, it fluffs it up, it just tends to knot more easily at the bottom. So I'll just have to be a little bit more careful about kind of guiding my thread at the bottom. I hope I'm not stressing you guys out. You know, that's how they sell those video games. They're like, oh, people with IQ of 100 plus put the red ball on the bottom, and then they show somebody trying to play the game and they're doing such a terrible job and you're yelling at the screen, put the blue one there first and then put the red one down. And that's how they get you to download their game, by annoying you, by looking stupid. So maybe that's what I'm doing right now. I'm annoying you by showing you all my troubles with this first few stitches of this project. And my end goal is to get you to pick up your own project and do a beautiful job on it. Okay, but the good news is I'm now past that part of the thread that got all twisted and gross, and now I'm back to the good thread. So these first few stitches actually don't look that nice, but you know, whatever. The world will continue turning even if some of the stitches look bad. What do they say? They say don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good, meaning don't be such a perfectionist that you throw away something that was perfectly good because it wasn't perfectly perfect. So that's what we are doing here. We are letting the good be the good. The good is the good enough. This is going to look so pretty when it's done. I picked maybe the most boring color to start with, this dark brown. I could have picked one of those beautiful blues. So yesterday we went to the Piping Kettle Soup Company again for dinner. And we had a couple of really delicious soups. What I found there, their soups are amazing. Like, their soups are so good that they really don't compare to anything else. And their sandwiches, I mean, I like their sandwiches because they're just plain sandwiches, but also they're just plain sandwiches. So you have this like super amazing soup and then like a mediocre sandwich with it. So I don't know if I'm going to go for sandwiches there anymore. I think I might stick with their soups and their salads. Their salads are also really good. How did I get a knot in that? There we go. This has got to be the most irritating stitch with me I've ever done. I hope you guys are just working on your projects and having a good time. but I am seriously having trouble here. This particular thread just wants to be irritating. I thought I was through the part that was making knots, but it's still making knots at the bottom. They're not horrible knots, but man, oh man. Gretel is still sitting here. She looks so cute. Let me get a shot of Gretel for you. There she is. She's just sitting on the extra threads. I mean, she's probably getting her hair all over them. They're going to be really irritating, but she is so cute. Oh, she's so cute. Sometimes when I pet her, then she runs away, but good girl. Honestly, cats are the best. I don't understand people who don't like cats. I think they are the best. They are so, like, non-invasive. You know, dogs, you get home, they're all over you, they're jumping up and down, they're slobbering, they want you to take them for a walk. Gretel gets a little bit excited when we get home. She runs over to her scratching toy and scratches vigorously at it, and then she ignores us. So it's great. She's there, she's a companion, but she doesn't need you to work at it, you know? You don't have to entertain her all the time. You can play with them. They're fun to play with, and they get really, like, she jumps really high when you play with her. She has a great time, but she doesn't expect it. Like, she's not always on you to, you know, harassing you to do things with her, pay her attention. Whereas dogs, oh man. And every morning in winter when I wake up and look out and it's snowy and cold, I thank my lucky stars for having cats. Dogs are cute. I like dogs. Don't get me wrong. Dogs are great, but cats are just better. I probably just lost 10 subscribers, all dog people. And I know, like, some people even will leave their cat for the weekend, just set up some food, make sure they have a lot of water. We don't usually leave them more than just one overnight, but you can. When we leave for longer periods of time, I have a cat sitter. She is the best. I love our cat sitter so much. She loves the cats. She comes and she spends like at least half an hour at the house every day. She scoops their litter, makes sure they have food and water, and then she just plays with them. And she'll send pictures of them playing. And my cats are not, they're pretty skittish and they're afraid of most people. They do like Rhonda the cat sitter, but they're not as, you know, loving with her as they are with us, but they do, you know, come down and let her play with them and stuff. And she brushes them if they want it. And then anytime I'm feeling lonely when we're on vacation, if I just text or message Rhonda and say, hey, how are the kitties? She has a million photos ready to go on her phone. So that's one of the nice things is if you're busy on your vacation and not thinking about your cats, Rhonda will not bother you. But if you're lonely and you want to look at the cats, she'll send a ton of photos. And it's great. She's just, everything about the cat sitter is great. I think there's a couple other cat sitters in my city who are pretty good, but luckily my regular one has always been available because I think like them getting to know a whole new person, that would be tough. I don't think they would adapt very well to a new person. You know, a new person moving in and staying, sure. We've had a couple people come in and out for a few months at a time, and they've been fine. You know, sister, brother, my dad visits, they've gotten used to him. But somebody new out of the blue, they are not those kind of cats. They are not walking up to strangers for snuggles and love. Are you, Gretel? No, she's not. The other thing I like about having the fabric in a hoop is it tends to make a better noise as you cross stitch. It kind of does that pop, pop. Gretel was very interested in me making that noise. She's looking at me like, what? Gretel, it's the cross stitch noise. Oh, another knot. Nope, that was an easy one to get out. So we are leaving very, very soon on our European vacation. We are flying to Greece, to Athens, and that is where we set sail from. And I'm making a big jump with this thread. A big jump, but the fabric is so stiff, I'm not going to be worried about the tension from the jump. So we fly to Greece, and that is going to be like 10-hour flight or something. I am not looking forward to that. I find as I get older, I become way less tolerant of just general discomfort, you know, like sitting in uncomfortable chairs and, you know, like it's amazing how young bodies can just do anything, basically. So I'm not looking forward to that long flight, and I'm not really looking forward to that first morning when you arrive and you really didn't sleep and you feel terrible and your hotel's not ready yet. But once that discomfort is over, we are going to have a really good time. So we're going to a few of the Greek islands. I think I talked about this before in a Stitch with Me. We're going to hit a couple of the Greek islands. We're hitting a couple of places in Italy, and we end up in Barcelona. I don't know how much we're going to do as far as once we get to port, because as I said in another video, my husband actually just recently had knee replacement surgery. So he's actually back mostly to normal, but he does tend to, like, if he does a lot of walking, it really like stiffens up and gets crampy. And unfortunately, when you're on a cruise vacation, you tend to do a lot of walking when you're in port. So we are just going to play it by ear and see how it goes. Some of these places we have seen before, or I've seen before, and so I think it's just the new places where we're really going to want to walk around quite a bit, and we'll have to see how it goes. Hopefully he's feeling really good. The excursions have gotten so expensive. So we like cruising. Usually excursions are like, you know, $150, $180, usually US dollars. They're not cheap by any means, but that's what we were kind of expecting to pay, maybe around $200 for excursions. And we started looking at the prices of these excursions this year, and I don't know why COVID changed pricing so much and inflation changed pricing so much, but these excursions are like $300-$400 for just the, like, we'll take you via bus to a place, drop you off, and you look around. Like $400. So here's a tip for you people who are thinking about cruising. You can often do your own thing for way cheaper. So, for example, in some of the Caribbean islands, they will charge you $150 to take a bus over to a boat and sail around on the boat or snorkel. Well, some of them you can get off and it's a 10-minute walk over to the beach and you can rent snorkels for $15, for example. So some places with just a tiny bit of research, look at how far the port is from the activity that they want you to do or that you want to do, and just see if it's something that you can do on your own. So we did the snorkeling, and then, you know, for really cheap, some people took us out on a boat and we fed the turtles, for example. Way, way, way cheaper than what they wanted to charge us. You can't do that everywhere, though. Some places the activities are so far from port that you really do need to get transportation. And it also depends just how brave you are to try to strike out on your own versus just having somebody do it for you. Tell you where to go, tell you what time to be ready. You know, there is something to be said for paying for those conveniences. So it's too bad we don't see like something actually developing in the picture as I am doing this, but this is just sort of a really random color. I thought it was going to be mostly in the bird, but it actually seems to be like fairly frequent throughout this area as just sort of like a background color. It is starting to get a little cooler here, unfortunately. I am not a big fan of fall. I find it really depressing. Like, it's getting colder. The leaves are turning colors. You know they're about to fall off. Everyone's like, oh, the beautiful colors. And I'm like, yeah, they're going to be sticks in a few days. That beautiful tree is just going to be so ugly by this time next week. It seems like I've picked every like negative topic to talk about today. I'm very sorry. If you've made it this far and you're like, oh man, now I'm in a bad mood, I am really sorry. I am really sorry. We should talk about something super great, like how cute my cat is, although she left. She has left the building. Not the building, but she left the table. She is very cute, and I absolutely adore her. I have two cats, for those of you who don't know. Two cats, Hansel and Gretel. They are brother and sister. I love them both very much. They both have very different personalities. I could talk about cats forever. I could talk about cats all day long. In fact, it's so funny. The other week I had just like a pop-up live. I don't know if you caught the replay, but I had a pop-up live Stitch with me. And towards the end, Ava from Stitching in the Inner Lake came on. And I was like, I am so glad you're here because I want to talk about your cats. I love other people's cats. I love my own cats. I love cats on the street. The only cat that I'm not so super keen on is this one cat who lives on my street who they let him outside, and I have feelings about letting cats outside. I don't think it's a good idea in a, neighborhood with a lot of cars, maybe if you lived on a farm or something out in the country. But in any case, they let this cat outside. He wanders around. And I was walking by one day, and he came up to me, and he was purring and rubbing against my legs and just indicating that he was really friendly and wanted to be pet. So I reached down and I was petting him, and he was purring and rubbing. And out of nowhere, with zero warning, he lost it, and he bit me and scratched me, and it bled. And it was one of those stupid cat bites that immediately starts puffing up, and you've got to watch it for signs of infection. And it took a couple of weeks for that stupid cat bite to heal. So I am not a fan of that cat. That's my least favorite cat. He's cute, and I still love that he's a cat, but I really don't want him near me. There's also a dog who lives on our street, and this is funny because every time you walk past his fence, his backyard backs onto the main street, and every time you walk by, that dog runs to the fence, barks his head off. He's a giant dog, just giant black, scary looking dog. And then one day, this lady was walking down the street with her cute, perfectly well-behaved dog, and came up to us, and I said, "Oh, is your dog friendly?" Because I wanted to pat it. And she was like, yeah, she's really friendly. So I'm patting the dog. The dog's happy. The dog's so cute. The dog's so friendly. And she's like, yeah, she's really, really aggressive at the fence, but she's not, she's actually really nice. And I was like, that is the same dog? Are you kidding me? So she barks like a big, scary Doberman. And yet, she's the sweetest dog in the whole world in real life. So I guess I don't think she would ever attack somebody through the fence, but she makes a big show of it vocally. So there you go. Nice cat, actually mean. Mean looking dog, actually nice. Don't know if that's a pattern that holds true always. All right, so I just did this little section of brown, and I am done the thread, so I will end this now. It took an entire half an hour to do that thread, I think, because it kept on knotting up and everything, so that was kind of annoying. We talked, we covered everything that bothers me. Hopefully you guys had a good time. I still had fun. Just today was a complain day, I guess. All right, thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.